Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to day one of LeadSquared's Masterclass series. I'm Saleha Mariam. I oversee product marketing at LeadSquared, and I'm also your host for today. So, how are you this evening or this afternoon, depending on where you're joining from? Do let us know in the chat tab because this is not a one-way session where we're just going on and you just have to listen to us. On our panel today, we've got Abhilash Krishnan. He oversees product training at LeadSquared. He knows the CRM inside out, and that's not even the best part. The best part is that Abhilash has this way of conveying all his vast knowledge about LeadSquared CRM in the simplest way possible. So, before we get started, I just have a few pointers I want to share with you so that you can get the best out of this session. So, number one, towards the bottom right of your screen, you'll see a chat tab and a questions tab. Any questions you have, please put them in either one of those, the questions tab or the chat tab. We have an entire panel of experts at the back end to answer your questions. So just keep them coming. We'll keep answering them. And yeah, enjoy the session. Before I leave, though, I've got a small confession to make. If you're wondering, how we came up with this idea of LeadSquared's masterclass, so there's this phenomenon that's happening in LeadSquared, where we just got this nightmare that what if someone is spending hours doing some task that the CRM can just do in minutes? Can you imagine? What a horror! That's only 50% true though, because we came to that conclusion because you told us that you want a masterclass on LeadSquared's core features in our last webinar. How do you tell us? Through the polls. We actually read those polls. So we'll run a few polls during this session too. Take a second, let us know what you want, and the next class will be tailor-made for you. Okay, that's it. Over to you, Abhilash. Enjoy the session, everybody.
Thank you, Salaha. Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. So I think we'll quickly get started for the interest of time. So let me share my screen. So I'll be giving you a walkthrough on the core platform. So for that, I'll be using my LeadSquare account so that you guys are getting the right insights and the right knowledge. And the topics that we are covering for the day would be one is user management, one is lead management, and the other one is opportunity management. So I'm sure that all of you are familiar with the LeadSquare platform, but let me also give you a walkthrough on what all things we can do and what all are included in this user management lead and opportunity. To start with user management, right now, let's try to understand. So I'll be covering mostly from the admin point of view on what is user management, what it means to an admin, rather than just a sales user. Okay. Now, there's a place. So, if you're an admin, I'm sure that you must be familiar with the settings part. You will almost always be on your settings and you go to your users and permission. We have users option. And there's a place where you create your users. So, when I say user management, it covers everything about the users or your employees who are using your LeadSquare platform. And this is the place where you create your users. You click on create and you will get a form which includes fields. This is similar to how we create Gmail account or any account, right? Now you're creating users in your LeadSquare platform where you will enter their first name, last name, and you will enter their email address, maybe your company provided email, their phone number, and then we have the user type where we will define are they a regular user where they will have access to web as well as mobile, or are they Marvin users, that means they are using the sales platform, or the mobile users. Then we have something called as roles. Now, this is the important part where I want all of you to understand. So, LeadSquare has formed four roles or four personas. Now, we categorize user in these four roles. So, we cannot create a new role where nor we can delete any of the existing ones. Now, the four role represents the access right for each of the user. Now, you're adding someone to your LeadSquare system who will handle your entire CRM, where they will add users, delete users, create workflows, manage the entire account, right? Where they need access to everything in the platform. You will give them administrator role. Then you have another persona or another role, which is marketing user. Now you're adding a user who's taking care of the marketing piece, such as creating landing pages, sending out email campaigns, or creating website widgets. And they also need access to all the leads because someone being part of marketing, when we are running the campaigns, right, we also need to know how the campaigns are working or where to invest more. To achieve that, they also need access to all the leads. So if you're giving someone marketing user role, they will have access to marketing tools, and they will also have access to all the leads in the system. The third role or the third persona would be sales manager. Now you have a requirement where the user is going to take care of the entire business, where they need access to only leads. Now their responsibility lies only in knowing what is happening with all the leads, how many lead entered, how many lead are converted to customer, how many are in prospecting stage, how many are in opportunity stage. If their responsibility is just to know everything with regards to the leads, you will give them a sales manager role. And the last one that we have is sales user. Now, the name itself says these are individual contributors. Now, it could be your sales rep, it could be your BDs, it could be your SDs, where they have their own target, where there are leads assigned to them, and they work on only on the leads where they are the owner. Now, these are the four roles that we have. And then we have one more field that is reporting to. Now, you will be able to see all the users in your LeadSquare system. Now, the person whom you're trying to add, if his reporting manager is available over here, you can select that person. And we also have an option where we can define the team, which is more like a department. We will learn more about teams in the very shortly. So this is all about the form which we use to create users in the LeadSquare system. Now, once we create users, we also have options where we can update other details. Now, initially, when I'm creating a user, I am only updating the mandatory ones or the important ones. Now, after that, I have an option where I can fill in other details that includes, if you click on edit, you can update their date of birth, designation, their region, skills, phone number. Similarly, you can define their work location, their city, their employee ID. All those details can be updated by the admin. And we also have other options. One is we can import users. Now, if you're adding just one or two users, then create works well. But one quick tip, if you have more than three, four users, it's always recommended that you go with import option. And it's easy. It is not that difficult, where if you click on import users, you will get the CSV format here itself, so you don't have to worry about the format which you need to enter. We have already provided to you. You need to just click on this, you can download, and then you can update details based on whatever fields you have created, and then you can import. The other option that we have is we can export users. Now, imagine you want to know the list of users who are existing in your system, or maybe you want to update something. You want to update some informations. Now, for that reason, you can export, you can get their email IDs, and then you can also update any fields with the help of CSV. We also have bulk update. Now, for example, you want to deactivate few users, you want to change the teams or something, you can go with bulk update. Now, there's a place where you can change the team. Now you can change from lead square to a different department, or you can also change the status from active to inactive. You can mark it as obsolete. All those things can be done through bulk update. We also have one option that is view user hierarchy. This is primarily to understand which user reports to whom. Now, this is how you can see the hierarchy. Now, imagine you want to change this particular marketing user from this manager to someone else. You will just drag and drop. It's easy for you to add managers, or you can make someone report to someone using this user hierarchy. And now I'm sure most of you would be thinking, why am I not getting this option in your account? To get that option, what you do is you go to your settings. Now we go to profile, and we have an option called as additional configuration. I'll open this in a new tab. And over here, you will have to just search as hierarchy. Now you need to enable this option. So only if you enable allow user hierarchy management, you will be able to get this option, which I showed you. Let me go back to my users. I'm sure most of you would have not explored this. So if not, you can try it out. And it's easy for you to change the reporting to function. It's just drag and drop. You will just move this person to this person and done. You click on save, the reporting to will change. Now there's one quick tip. And then we also have configure homepage. That is, you want to now imagine for this particular user, when they log in, you want them to see the dashboard, or you want them to see the smart view the moment they log in. You can define this. So over here, you can configure the home page so that anytime your user is logging in, they'll be able to see the one that you have configured. So this is about the users, this is about we adding users and the options that we have in user. We also have one more option or one more feature that we have, which is called as sales group. And this primarily comes into play or comes into picture whenever we have a requirement. Now we understood the four roles. One is administrator, marketing user, sales manager, and sales user. Now in each of these roles, we understood the access right that they have. But there is one situation or scenario that usually comes up is, now there will be different regions. Now in every organization, the sales team will have different region like north, south, east, west, or it could be even you might have a team based on the product you sell. Okay, and for each of the product there might be 10 BDs and there would be one manager, where the requirement of the management would be, we don't want one particular team to have access of the other team's data. When I say team, that team will have a manager, and the manager should have access to only his team data. Whenever we have such requirement, I'm sure most of your organization would be having such requirements in place. If you have that, you have a team, there is one manager, and you want that manager to access only the leads of his reportees. What you do is sales group is your solution. Just click on sales group, you can click on create, and the only condition in sales group is you can only add users with the role sales user. So if you want to make someone as a manager where he can have access to only the leads of his user, you will have to make all of them as sales user first. Then you have one option manager where you're going to add that person as this particular group's manager. And the system will give you a functionality or give you an option where you can decide what this manager can do. Do you want to give him access only to view all the leads of the group, or do you also want to give him access where he can modify all the leads? Now that's up to you. And one quick tip, we also provide two other options where we can add users, which means the group manager, whomever you are adding as manager, right? He will also get access to create user if you enable this. And the last one is he can create automation for his group only. One quick tip for all the admins, please do not enable these two. It's always recommended that only the admin will take care of these operations and no one else. So you can just stick with either view all leads or you can stick with modify all leads. And once you're done, you click on save and it's done. Also, one of the best option in sales group is now one group can have more than one manager. Now here test user 3 is a manager. I can also add one more person and I can say this person can just view all the leads. Now here if you look at this person has access to view leads, modify leads, and this person has access only to view the leads. Now this way you can create sales group, you can create up to 50 sales group in the system, and you can solve this problem where there is a team and there is a manager and where you want only that manager to have access to only the leads of his team. Now that is solved through sales group. And then we also have something called as teams where we define hierarchy, department wise hierarchies. Okay, now I have created one sample over here. Now LeadSquare is the parent team, and under LeadSquare we have a sales team which reports to parent team. But within sales team we will have multiple child teams. Like I mentioned, we have north sales team, we have south sales team, and we have US regions as well. Now in teams I am creating this department hierarchy to achieve few things. Now only using teams I can apply something called as workday template, I can apply something called as holiday calendar. Now why is this needed? What is workday template, what is holiday calendar? Now, Workday template is, now if you look at these teams, now LeadSquare has India North, India South, and US regions. Now, the shift of each of these users are different. Now, I can use this in my automation. Now, if you're asking me how is it relevant to me or how is it going to help me, if you define a workday schedule and if you apply it on a team, this can be used in your automation as well. Now, there's your automation distribution card. Now here, if you go to user properties, this is the place where you will make use of this workday schedule, holiday calendar, where you can mention, you can choose a workday template over here so that the lead is only assigned during their availability, only during their shift timings. The whole idea or the end goal behind this is we are not distributing any lead to an user who is unavailable. The end goal for all of us is the lead makes an inquiry and we want the lead to be assigned to the available person. And we have multiple options to achieve it. So one is Teams. On Teams, we are going to apply workday template, holiday calendar. We also have something called as user checking checkout. This is a very good functionality which has been used by most of our clients. What we do is we can, the moment someone logs into their LeadSquare account, right, a pop-up will come which will ask them to check in. If they are checked in, it will be in green showing as online. And when they're online, the lead can be assigned to them. Now here for user checking checkout, I have an option where I can choose individual roles or I can select a particular group. I'm talking about the sales group. Now if I'm going by roles, I can select which all roles should be part of this checking checkout. Administrator is handling the account, so it is not very much needed for the admin to actually check in or check out, but still I will enable so that I can show you guys how it works. We have an option where we can choose different roles. And we also have an option where if you want to exclude someone, right, you want to exclude some users or you want to exclude some roles, you can do it. Here you can add them as an exception and they will not get an option to check in, check out. But for other users or other roles for whomever we have enabled, the moment they log into their LeadSquare account, they will get one pop up which will ask them to check in. So currently I've logged in, so that's the reason I'm not getting a pop up. Now, the moment I log out and log in again, you will be able to see the pop up coming up. Now, this is about user check in, workday template, holiday calendar. Similar concept for holiday calendar as well, where each region will have different holidays. Now, for example, North and South, they have different holidays. So, if you want to let the system know, now this team is following this particular holiday list, and on that particular day, the team is not available, the holiday calendar could be of help for you. We also often see one requirement from the client. So whenever we create users, right, or whenever we add users, there would be yes. So there's the check-in functionality. Now the moment I click on check-in, you will be able to see me as online. And the moment I'm done with my work, I'm done with my shift, I'll click on this. Just a minute. I click on this and I will get an option to check out. Also, coming back to the topic that we were discussing. Now, one of the common requirement that we get from the clients are, now when they create users, right, there would be certain information that they would want to capture apart from what LeadSquare is providing. Something that is relevant to their own business. It could be maybe, it could even be document verification or background verification or maybe blood group or some details, right, which is specific that you would want to capture from your user before you onboard them, and you would want to capture that information within the LeadSquare platform. You have such requirement, the option or the solution that you follow is just scroll down and you will see something called as user field. This is the place where you are going to create custom user fields which can be used to capture information of your users. Now it could be maybe I'll mention as background verification. Now I could have this as a drop down where I'll mention as yes, no, pending. Okay. And I also have an option where I can mark it as mandatory. So if it is mandatory, that means without me filling this information, I cannot create that user. So what I'll do is I'll mark this as mandatory so that we can see how it is going to appear. We also have an option is editable. So if you enable this, that means when a user is logging in, once he goes to his profile, he can edit this information for his future reference. And also we have an option where is hidden for the user. That means that the moment he logs in, he goes to his profile, he will not be able to see this field. He will not even know that there is a field called as background verification. This will be only visible to that. Now let me create this and show you what would happen when you are going to add a new lead, new user once you add the new field. So now when I click on create, you will be able to see one more field, that is background verification completed. So without me filling this information, the system will not let me create a user. So this is primarily about user management, where we have covered about users, roles. We have covered about sales group. We have covered about teams. We have covered about user fields. These are the primary components of user management concept. Saleha, do you have any questions? I think questions we'll be answering towards the end. So I think I'll proceed.
Yes, Abhirash. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
everyone, if you have questions, keep putting them in the chat tab. I see you are already doing it, and we'll keep replying as and when we receive your questions. Towards the end, Abhilash will also take your questions.
great. Thank you, Saleha. So we are done with user management. Now we'll quickly move to our lead management topic. And the reason why we are just giving you surface level information, because in 1 hour, I'm sure that we'll not be able to complete all this concept, because there are a lot of things that you guys would have to know from an admin point of view. Now here, what we are trying to achieve is making you understand which all features you can navigate to, where all you can navigate to to achieve your goals. So now we know about users. Now we know about user management. Now let's quickly move to lead management. Now, as an admin, if you want to create any lead fields, you want to create any lead stages, you will come to this particular part, that is leads. You will go to leads tab, and this is the place where you will create lead fields. Now, your question would be, now the fields that I'm going to create, where am I going to use this? Now, the answer to that is, now manage lead is the section where you will find all the leads. Now in the system, I don't think so. I have many leads. I just have one lead. But there's a place where you see all the leads, and whatever field you're creating here, you will be able to see in your form. There's your lead capture form, which is used by a user. Now we have two types of form. So one is quick add. The whole purpose of having quick add is, now in a situation where your lead is not does not have much time to invest in the call, and they might be just calling you for an inquiry saying that, hey, do you sell this product, or do you have this particular offering with you? They might be just expecting a yes or no, and they would not be ready to spend 5-10 minutes where they will provide you all the details. So usually in that case, what would the sales user do? They would just write down a piece of paper, and they might even miss out that there is a lead who called you, right? In such cases, what we recommend is, you can always go ahead with quick add lead, where you can only add fields which are needed for you to create them. Very limited information, that might be just the name, email, phone. All these are optional. Even with just the name, I can create a lead, and later on your user is supposed to call the lead, get all other informations. But in such situations where you know the lead is not going to provide you more details in that particular call, you can always go with quick add, and you can capture that as a lead in your system. That is one form. And the second form that we have is, we have add new lead form. Now there's a detailed form. Okay, now these are the informations which your company or your organization want you to capture from your lead. Now as a user, when I'm calling a lead, or when I'm trying to create someone as a lead, these are all the information that I would want to capture. And you also have an option where you can mark few fields as mandatory, and without you filling that, you cannot create that as a lead. There is a place where you create fields, and this will be appearing in your form, and you can decide where it should be. You can create different sections. You can customize your form, or you can configure the form the way you want, which I'll be showing next. I'll just show you how you create a lead, just an example. So you just click on create, and you will add the display name, and you have an option data input type. So you will just define here, what kind of data are you expecting. So is it going to be a text data input, or is it going to be a number, email, phone number? We have almost all data input type available. So based on the information that you're trying to capture, you can select the appropriate one. Then we have something called as dependent lead fields. Now this primarily created to used to create dependency between two drop downs. Now for example, if I select Karnataka as a state, I would want to see the cities associated. If I see Delhi as a state, I would want to see the cities associated to it. So there is a dependency. Only if you input the first one, that is the state, then you can see the city value. So to create those dependencies, we have dependent lead fields. And also one more quick tip. So if you guys are new to this, and if you don't know how to create one or how to work with this, always hover to this. Now there is a help documentation for all of these. Wherever you see this help mark, right? Now there's a help document page. The moment you click on this, it is taking to a page which will give you more details on what is this and how can you configure it as an admin. So don't worry that you don't have understanding on how this works. We have all the support documents available with us. Then we have lead stages. So primarily lead stage helps us understand the journey of the lead or helps us understand the sales funnel. So we have active lead stage and inactive lead stage. And under active lead stage, we can have up to 20 stages. And under inactive, we can have up to 5. And the reason why we have active, inactive, now active means this lead has shown some interest, and there is definitely a possibility that the lead might be converted to a customer sometime at some point of time. So if a lead is an active stage, that there is still some hope that this lead might be converted. But the moment we mark any lead in the inactive stage, right? The inactive stage, we have disqualified, we have invalid, we have junk leads. So the moment we move the lead to any inactive stage, that means it's a dead lead. The users usually don't work on the dead leads. We would still have them in the system for marketing purpose. Maybe today they are not interested. Today they have today they have not shown interest, or maybe they don't want to go ahead with our offerings. But we might still keep them in the system so that the marketing team can actually run out some campaigns and create some interest. And here also we have an option where we can enable comments. And the moment you enable comments, if your user has to manually change the stage. Now, for example, now here the first stage is new patient. If your user is moving the stage manually from new to appointment booked, he will have to mention the reason, or maybe he will have to give a comment on why he is moving the stage from new patient to appointment booked. And all this information you will be able to see in the activity history. Now, activity history will give you complete clarity on whatever is happening with regards to this lead, every engagement, every lead stage, every comment, everything will be seen in this particular activity history. Now, coming to lead source, this is primarily used for us to know from which source we are getting leads. It will be helpful for the marketing team so that when they know that okay, from this particular source we are getting more leads, they at least will know where to focus more or where to invest. Then we have rename lead. Now, if you see here, right now in this particular account, the term that we use is leads. Now, there would be someone from education who don't call the inquiries as lead. They would want to call them as student. In healthcare, they would want to call them as patient. They don't usually use this term lead. Okay. Now, this is the place where you can rename the lead to health, to patient, or to student, whatever you feel, or whatever is a term that you use in your business, right? You can get this done in the rename lead tab. We have one more option. So if you look at this, right now, if you look at this particular lead, now these are the tabs. Now a user would be able to see all those tabs. Now LeadSquare also provides you an option or a function where you can decide what all tabs he can see. Now, you don't want him to see the notes, or you don't want the user to see notes or documents, or even for the lead action, right? You don't want him to see certain things. You have an option where you can hide them, or you can configure them based on the department, based on departments, you can get that done. Let me show you how it is done. So if you scroll down, there is something called as lead details view. Now, if you click on create, now you have an option what all details you want to hide. Now there's a lead V card. So this is what we are referring to. These things, right? The lead score, engagement score, age, and the properties. So you want to, just a minute. Yeah, you want to add something over here. Maybe it could be the budget or maybe something else. You can add it over here. Yeah. So here there's a place where we can add the budget and all those things. And then we can also decide which all tab to show, which all tab to hide. Now, if you look at this, we are able to show activity history, lead details, opportunity, task, and notes, right? Here you can decide if you don't want them to see a certain tab, you can remove that from this. You can remove if you want to make a particular tab as default. Now, currently, activity history is a default one. Now, if you want to change it to opportunities, now if you're working on opportunity model and you want to see the opportunities as a default one, you can do this. You don't want them to see certain things, just remove it from here. Or you want to add something, you can just click on plus, it will be added. And also with regards to actions, so when I'm referring to action, what I mean to say is this particular one, lead actions. Now we have add to list, automation report, change owner, change stage, all those things, right? Now if you don't want them to see certain things, you don't want them to see automation report, or you don't want them to edit something from lead action, just save it. Once you're done, click on save, and you have an option where you can apply it on your teams. Now you can apply this only on your team level. So please note, you want to apply this to any users, they should be part of your teams. Then we have something called as lead forms. So like I mentioned, we have seen different forms. We have seen quick add form, we have seen add new lead form. We know now there are different forms in place. Now there's a place where we can customize the way we want. Now there's the add new lead form which I was referring to. Let me show you how it looks now. Now there's the add new lead form. Now if you want to customize or you want to structure it the way you want, maybe you want to create different sections, what you do is just click on create section. Now this could be personal details, and you can just do a drag and drop. It's just drag and drop, so it's quite easy, so it's not a complicated one. Just drag and drop. You want to add some fields which are hidden and you would want to capture some new informations, just drag and drop. And you don't want some details, just drag it towards your right hand side, which is called as hidden field. The moment it is hidden, it will not be shown in the form. Now maybe I don't want to capture the alternate contact number, I don't want to capture the interest in. I can create multiple sections so that your users are not getting confused. If you look at this particular form now, there's one form, one section where the user might get confused. But as an admin, I have an option where I can categorize or I can create different sections which might talk about personal details, occupational details, or maybe any information, right? If you create section, it's easy for your user. Now, what I'll do is I'll click on save. Now I have customized my create lead form. Now, similarly, you have an option where you can also customize your mobile form. You can customize your quick add form. You can customize your lead vcard. All the form customization, or you want to configure it the way you want, there's the place that you visit. Now we have customized the lead create form. Now let's see how it appears. Now let me click on add new lead form. Now, if you see, now we have two sections. One is new patient intake form, and the other one is personal details. Now, this way you can create multiple sections so that your users are not getting confused, and it's easy for them to work with your form when you have a structure in place. Now, this is primarily about our lead management. Here we have covered about the fields, where the fields are used. We also understood how we can configure or design the form based on our business requirement. We understood about lead stages, lead sources, lead details view, where we understood which all tabs the user can see, which all actions they can see. All those details we understood from the lead management topic. Now the last topic that we have for the day is called as opportunity management. I'm not sure how many of you are using opportunity management. So I'll just give you some brief or some context on what is opportunity management. Now, opportunity management is a solution that we have in place, which is used in use cases where we have more than one products to sell or when we have more than one offering. Okay. Now I'll give you an example. I'll show you an example of one opportunity that I've created. Now let's take this as an example. Now there's a lead and I would want to sell multiple product. Now I have home loan, I have personal loan. Okay. Now in lead management, I have a static form. Now there's a static form that we saw over here. which is going to be same for home loan as well as personal loan. So whenever I have a requirement where I want to create separate form for each of my offerings and I want to have different owners. Now if you look at this use case which I'm referring to, now home loan would be handled by somebody from home loan department, personal loan would be handled by someone from personal loan department. It is not going to be one user. Now in lead management, if you see, we can only have one owner for a lead. You will not have more than one owner for a particular lead. But in opportunity management, the home loan owner can be someone else and the personal loan owner can be someone else. Now there's one more advantage, and the third one is we can have dedicated duplication logic for each of those offerings. For each of the opportunity, I can define a separate duplication logic. Now, this way, I am ensuring that I am only capturing the right opportunity and there are no duplicate values. Now, let me show you one example by adding one opportunity. I've already created one opportunity. Now, let me show you this. Now, for personal loan, I am trying to capture different details like application number and few other details. Or let me try to add one opportunity and show it to you so that you guys have complete clarity on this. Now imagine this particular lead, the test lead is now inquiring for a home loan. So I'm going to add a home loan opportunity where I can add details like expected deal size, closure. I can have here I also have an option where I can change the owner, and here I can define what is the current status, what is the stage. I can fill in details specific to this home loan, which is property details, property value, and application number. Now, if you look at personal loan, now when I'm going to add one opportunity for personal loan, the details will change. Now, for personal loan, I don't want to capture the property valuation or the property details. I would want to know if he is salaried and what is his salary and the application number. So, like this, you can create opportunities, you can create form for each of the offerings that you have. And like I mentioned, now since I've created one opportunity, right? Let's try to create a similar opportunity again with the same detail. And then you will understand what do I mean by duplication logic. Okay, now here the application number is 001. I'll try to create one more opportunity here with the same details. So I open this lead and also keep one point in mind: opportunity will not exist independently. For opportunity management to exist, there should be a lead. On the lead we add opportunities, so opportunity is not an independent solution. So first there should be a lead, and on the lead we are going to add opportunities. Now imagine I'm going with home loan and I'm going to enter the same application number, that is 0001. Now my system will throw an error. The reason being there is already one opportunity existing and which is an open status. When I say it is an open status, that means there is a user who is working on it. And that's the reason my system is not letting me create one. Now, like this, if you have 10 product, you can create 10 forms. You can have 10 members working on these 10 opportunities, and you can have 10 duplication logic in place, which ensures there are no duplicate values created. Now, opportunity management primarily solves B2C use cases, usually edtechs and B2C companies, right? They have more products to sell. So they usually go with opportunity management. I think we have covered almost about everything about opportunity management as well. But like I mentioned, we are not covering in detail. And for that, we have something in place for you guys. So now whatever we showed is just a high level overview or just an understanding on how these features work or where you can find them. We have some surprise waiting for you guys to know more about these features in detail. So I think, Saleha, we are almost done with every feature that we planned for this session one. We have covered user management, we have covered lead management, and we have covered opportunity management. Yeah. So there's a surprise that I was referring to. Yeah, Saleha is here.
Hey everyone, I'm back. I hope you're enjoying this session. We're gonna take up your questions really quick. I see that a lot of you have asked a lot of questions in the chat. We got quite a few on the registration page. We'll take all of that up. But before that, we've got a surprise for you. And
Yeah.
Abhilash, why don't you go ahead and tell them exactly what it is?
Yeah. So the surprise is so now whatever we covered right now, you guys understood about lead, opportunity, and user management in a high level overview. So we have a certification program in place, and this primarily focusing for the LeadSquare admins and for any user who's using the LeadSquare software. Now, this certification, that is the LeadSquare admin certification, will help you understand all of the features in detail. Now, whatever I covered as a high level overview, we have a batch starting on 11 June, which is for 10 working days, 2 hours each, where you can be part of it and you can understand how do you configure, how do you build the entire use case using LeadSquare features. Now, whatever was covered in this 30-35 minutes, you will be learning in detail in 10 working days. And that will ensure that you guys have the right knowledge where you can manage your LeadSquare account effectively. You can solve your own business requirement. You don't have to depend on the support team for every small query. Now I do see that you guys are dependent on the support team. It might be even to add new user or create new fields, or maybe to create some sales group, or maybe make some changes in your workflow. But once you are certified, or once you are part of this training, right, you will have all the understanding that is needed to handle your account independently. So that is what we have as a surprise for you guys. So I request all of you to be part of this certification program, which is starting on 11 June. And the best part is now the participants who are part of this webinar, right, or part of this session will get 40% discount. So usually it's just 20%, but this is exclusive for just the participants who are part of this webinar. We are offering 40% discount. So we'll be sharing this brochure. We'll also share the sign up link. You can share your interest, and one of my team members or somebody from our team will definitely reach out to you and will provide you more details. But I will assure you that you guys being part of this certification is going to help you a lot with regards to managing your account. Now, one, it'll also help you manage your account. Second, you also have a certification. Imagine you are a pro at LeadSquare. A certification will hold all the credits that is needed so that you can proudly tell everyone that you are a LeadSquare certified admin. So this is what we have as a surprise for you guys. So over to you, Saleha.
Hey everyone, I hope you liked the surprise. So uh, let's take some questions, Abhilash.
Yep. Yeah, Saleha, sure.
We have quite a few. In the training, do you cover automations?
Yes, that is one of the important topic that we cover, because all the core platform, right? That is user management, lead, activity, task, all this comes under core. And in automation, we help you understand how do you bring all of this in one place and how do you automate your entire business process. So we cover approximately 2 days just on automation, which is covered in detail. And how the training works is we pick up a use case. So rather than we just making you understand on how these features work, what we do is we pick up use case and we solve that use case along with you. We make you solve that use case along with us and help you understand how these features are being used. Now, during this training, you will solve at least two projects, which will make you confident in solving your own business requirements.
Excellent. So you can just have a quick look at the curriculum of this certification program. And if you have any other questions. So Himanshu has a question. Can we create different access level for marketing user based on lead or account failed?
Uh, Himanshu, I would want to know more details on this. When you say access,
Himanshu,
yeah, so I would want to know more details on this. Like if somebody can elaborate on the query, right? It'll be easy for me to answer.
Himanshu, please let us know. And if you're not able to cover in the session, we'll get back to you personally and answer your question.
Yeah. And I think I can also see one question from Vijay regarding the cost. So Vijay, we have two training modes. One is live and one is self-paced. And for live, the price is 35,000, on which you will be getting 40% discount. And we have the other option, which is self-paced, which is 25,000. Even on that, you will be eligible for a 40% discount.
So one of the questions we got on our landing page was, and this is something people mentioned in the chat as well,
Okay.
about the integration feature on LeadSquared. How do you get the best out of that? How do you? It's a very powerful feature. It has a lot of capabilities, but how do you get the best out of it? How do you learn it? How do you master it?
See, integration is a, it's not a simple topic. It's a vast topic where you need to know a lot of things. Like you need to know certain languages where you know about JavaScript. You need to have API understanding. So we are also coming with with a certification program that is more like a developer certification, which is focused on the integration part, which is focused on the developer area, right? We understand that we are also getting more queries from the clients and from previous participants on the integration part. So there is a certification coming up for that also, Saleha. So I think that certification will help them skill that, because without having a proper program in place, I wouldn't say it's easy for someone to understand or make the best use of the integrations.
Perfect. Okay. So another question that we see. So Soumyadeep has a question. What are the steps to reach the lead? I did not find the lead option in my lead squared. Kindly suggest. Soumyadeep, I think if you click on your on the email on a lead in the lead wall, just click on the email or the contact number, and that should open up the field. Right, Apilash?
I think we can share. I can share my screen and show them if needed.
Yes.
Let me share my screen.
Yes.
So the question was like the moment he clicks on a lead, he is not able to see the lead detail, right? I am assuming that was a query.
He wants to reach out to the lead, contact the lead.
Okay. Okay, now let's assume there's a lead. Okay, now I click on this lead. If there is a contact number and if there is a telephony integration, so if there is a contact number, you will see it over here. Okay, you can also see it in the lead details. Now let me add this contact details so that I can show you where you can find it. Now I'll refresh my page. So one you can find over here. One is in your lead detail. Second is if you have a contact number, you will be able to find over here. Salah, correct me if I'm wrong. So as far as I've understood, this is the query, but if it is different, let me know.
Yes, I think that is the thing, right? Yes, that's it, Apilash. That was very
Okay.
got it right.
And
So there's another question we've got. This is one from the registration page.
mhm.
How do I search leads according to date?
Okay, let me show that as well. See, unfortunately, I don't have much leads over here, so you will not find any results, but I can show you how you can do it.
Yes.
So now this depends on certain aspects. Now you have one, you can search based on date over here. Now this depends on last activity you have created on, modified on. Now this depends on what you're looking for, and you have an option where you can see leads which was created on. Now let me change this to created on, and I have an option where I can select yesterday, today, last week, this week, last month. I can also have custom search. So start date, end date. I can have a custom search and I will get the leads based on whatever date preference you have, the time, that the date range. I hope this answers that query.
Yes. There are a few questions regarding the training.
Okay.
How long will it take for me to learn Lead Squared?
See, it depends on what's your level of understanding. But if you're joining the admin training, right? Even if you're coming with no knowledge, even if you're using Lead Square for the first time, so by you being part of the training and following all the guidelines, that is whatever assignment assessment that we share on daily basis, you will have to complete that. And there are certain homeworks that you're supposed to do in that 10 working days. And towards the end, I am sure that you will be in a stage where you understand everything about Lead Square. When I say everything, this doesn't include the integrations and API. This includes the core functionalities, this includes forms, process, automation, everything that is needed for you to run your business. Now, integration is something that is entirely different, but your business primarily depends on you changing some workflows, you creating new forms so that your users are finding it friendly and able to use it. So all those things you will be able to understand within this 10 working days, and post which we'll also have a certification, and you will also have support from the training team for approximately 6 months. So anywhere you are stuck, you need some support, you need some help, we are there. So learning Lead Square depends on the learners as well, Saleha, if you ask me. So yeah.
But you got nothing to worry, everyone, because our trainers are going to take into perspective your pace and your comfort.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a one for all sort of a thing. He will personalize it for you,
Right.
keep pace with you. Not going to overwhelm you with all the knowledge in one go. Don't do that. Don't worry. So
Yeah.
yes, another question from Montserrat. I hope I am pronouncing that right. Montserrat Parveen. Can we lock our automations once created?
You want to, so see, you as an admin will have an option where you can edit. Okay, only admins will have an option to make any changes to automation, so it's all up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, Montserrat, if you've got admin access, you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
So we see a lot of questions about permission templates, about smart views, and all of that. We'll be covering that on day
Yeah.
2 of our masterclass series, which is on the 19th of June.
Yeah.
Be sure to tune in. And if you have any questions, just put them in the chat, the questions tab. And if not, we can call it a day. But I see a lot of you are still with us, which is great. So please give us your questions. Abhilash is right here exclusively because Abhilash is very hard to find even as a lead square person. He's just always very, very busy.
I have
So
found
yeah,
time just for you guys. So yeah. Any queries, any questions with regards to the certification, with regards to any topics that we covered now, I'll be happy to take.
perfect. Also, if you want to learn only whatever is relevant to say sales users, stuff like that, we've got certifications exclusively for you as well.
Yeah.
So learn what is most relevant to you, what will help you out the most. And your CRM is here to make it easy, not to make it difficult.
Right. And understanding
Depending,
your CRM in detail will always benefit you and the organizations, because your users are primarily working on the CRM tool. So you knowing how your CRM works and you understanding how we can optimize certain things, right? That is going to benefit your company, your users, and everyone.
right. So Jyoti has a question. How do we find potential leads who check out our webpage or our products?
Okay. So through API, what we can do is, Jyoti. So one, we have a new feature called as form widget. Maybe what you can do is you can also add this form widget to your website, so that they just fill out their details and you capture them as a lead. So that is one way, one of the easiest way. And form widget is very much easy, which can be customized or configured based on your website, the look and feel, right? It can be configured based on that.
Yes, and you can capture those details. You
Yeah.
can feel of that. Okay. Thank you, Jyoti. I hope that answered your question. Uh, Deepanshi has a question. How do we know the leads that we've missed? I think, Deepanshi, you mean that you have not followed up on?
I think he's referring to the task. So maybe there would have been some task that was created, and they would have missed to. The task could be even to call the lead, and they would have missed. So one is that is something that we'll be covering in Smart View, Deepanshi. So in smart view, right, we can create one tab which says pending task, overdue task, and uh, all those things. So this will give you a clarity on if it is overdue, that means you missed it. If it is pending, that means it is going to start in maybe come. It's a coming up one, upcoming one. So if it shows overdue, that means you have missed the that task or you have missed calling the lead.
Right. So smart views, of course, a lot of you have shown great interest in that. It is one of our most loved features. We'll be covering it in detail on the second day of our masterclass on 19th June. Vikash has a question. If I have any lead and have a meeting with them, so how do I create the activity or task?
Okay. So I think the question is, so I have to create activity or task. So because this will be covering in the session too, but I'll just give you a high level understanding. So if you have any meeting or you want your user to do something, you will always go with task, because task is more like a reminder. You're reminding someone to do something. Activity is used to capture what is the outcome of that meeting. So you want them to do something, go with task. You want them to meet someone, you want them to call someone, go with task. And after the task is done, you would want to capture the outcome in an activity. That is how it works.
Right. Okay, everyone, it's time. So thank you, Vikash. So definitely, thank you so much, Abhilash. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a great evening. Have a great night. Have a great day. We'll be sharing the recording with you. Nothing to worry. And if you have a question that we somehow managed to miss, I don't know how that would be possible, but we'll get back to you personally. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.